Ready?
Nice.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I recorded that for posterity.
That's gonna be on the box set. Let's go out tonight. This album tells the story of me moving from New Jersey to Austin. Put on that dress that your mama used to wear. I was 1,000 miles from the people that I knew and the life that I knew. The flowers I love so much. Gonna take you out dancing and get lost in your touch. I really kind of was living in exile. You're fired.
I was burned out and jaded.
I can't remember a time in my life where I didn't love music. I always had guitars around. I was always fascinated by guitars and the people who played them. And when I was 3, I had like a Kiss lunchbox. The only 2 things I could really remember ever wanting to be was a baseball player, which talent took care of, and a musician. My grandfather played guitar and used to play Hank Williams songs around the house. My father would always listen to country music. My mother turned me on to the Beatles at an early age, and my sister had a big influence on me with the music she listened to. I went through a lot of phases growing up. I got really into the blues and then the Grateful Dead. And then when I was 23, I started Wide Load Jug. The Underpass is where I learned everything. It's this little dive bar in Elmwood Park, New Jersey, kind of a hippie place run by Joe Beats and Paul Guerrieri. And they supported original music, and they were the only place in North Jersey that did that. I started the Dirty Doves and we made Crooked right away, and then that band kind of fell apart. And then I met Jay Forsyth and he joined the band, and he introduced me to Clint and brought Clint into the fold, and Clint brought Eddie into the fold, and we met Joe Vernazza and Maddie just hanging out at the Underpass, and we became a crew, really.
Finally, I won't ever let nothing make a prisoner of me.
Lovesick took 3 years to make, and it was kind of a dark and druggy period for me, and when we were done making it, Jay had left the band. But when it came out, I was really proud of what we did artistically, and it was pretty well received. The Dirty Doves are pretty funny. We didn't have like a sex, drugs, and rock and roll image. We were just kind of 5 goofy guys who loved to get together and play music. And I think we took a lot of people by surprise because we were a really good rock band. And more importantly for me, we had a lot of fun playing together. And to have those guys encouraging me to write songs was great for me.
And she told me that she loved me. Hell, I know that she lied. Well, she's having a baby and it ain't mine.
It was a great scene, and I learned so much from everybody involved. And nobody was looking to get famous or to get a record deal. It was just all about the music, and that's what made it so special. The Underpass closed its doors, and it seemed like the scene had just kind of faded and died. And I was fighting my own demons, and I felt like I was kind of stuck in a rut. So I looked at the cards I had on the table, and I decided it was time for me to go. So I moved to Austin. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimmy Vaughan, Carolyn Wonderland, Janis Joplin, The Gourds, Ronnie Lynn and the Faces, and a werewolf version of Willie Nelson are all rumored to have lived at Wilson Street. I was new in town, I was alone, I was isolated, I didn't know anybody, didn't really have any friends, So I ended up just sitting on my porch and letting the action come to me, and I was drinking way more than I ever did in my life. And that front porch became the epicenter for a lot of music and, you know, also a lot of mayhem.
Following on footprints anymore. So you headed out west yesterday. Oh, Adriana.
I wasn't really pursuing any kind of music career. Any music I was playing was around the campfire or in small gatherings with friends, you know. I had taken a job as a teacher and I was turning my life in that direction. I guess I was trying to find some normalcy.
Yeah, I hope you're staying dry in all the rain.
Eddie came down to visit me a couple months after I moved down, and I was having a real tough time. I was living in the house by myself and I had no furniture. And Eddie tried to hit on the most beautiful girl in all of Wilson Street, and that's how I ended up meeting Adriana.
Darling, please forgive me, I'm just a man who came.
Within 5 minutes on our first date, I had fallen absolutely in love, and she sparked something inside of me, like a change inside of me. And even though it didn't last very long, that spark remains to this day. And she also really brought out the poet in me.
They escape and you cannot take them back. The day that you left me, all my blue skies turned black.
I started writing a lot of songs, and I was sending them via email to Eddie and Maddie. And then they came down for South by in 2009, and we just played all of those songs around the campfire and on the front porch with the acoustic guitar and the accordion and the acoustic bass. And the songs felt really good and really direct, and that was the birth of the Wilson Street Refugees.
I can honestly say I love you, and I know I tried my best.
South by ended and Eddie and Maddie went back to Jersey, and I decided it was time for me to sober up. And for the first time in my life I was sober, and I got more creative and more focused, and I actually started going out and engaging with other musicians in Austin, which was a first for me.
Oh, the skyline seems bigger.
My friend Larry Graves came to me, and he'd always been a fan of my songs, and him and Scott Everett and Shane Walker started New Austin Music, where they were going to record artists who didn't have money, and they asked me if I wanted to make a record, and I jumped at the chance.
Adriana, Seattle's so far away.
Maddie and Eddie came down at the end of March, and we set up camp in my living room, and we had a list of about 30 songs to choose from, and we just sat in the kitchen and started hacking away at those songs. The fourth member of our group became Chris Byrne. Chris and Maddie had actually went to high school together in Jersey and played in bands together. And he had moved to Texas right around the same time I did. And Chris is a great drummer and a really cool guy, and it just worked out perfectly.
I said, oh, Black Mama.
We would jam in the kitchen during the day, and at night we'd go out and play shows and invite everybody we knew to come play with us. And we would just improvise on the stage and see what worked for the songs and what didn't.
Well, I should have known better.
By the time it was the weekend and time to go into the studio, we had a whole crew of people that were willing to come in and volunteer their time and their talents to help us out. Because everybody was volunteering their time, we had to work around everybody's schedules, you know, work schedules, gig schedules, you know, I had to go pick up the kids. But it was cool, and everybody that came in seemed to be either new to Austin or an Austin outsider, and that really added to the whole feeling in the studio that we were doing something really cool. We we didn't do any rehearsals, so it was like come in, the song goes like this, and then we'd play it, and if it felt good and it sounded good, we'd keep it. And I know, like Find My Own Way Home, that was the only take we did, and we liked it so much we didn't even try to do take 2. We were just piled into Larry's living room, and we were all on top of each other, and we had to turn the air conditioning off every time we had to do a take. And I think at one point we had 8 people in the room, and like Frankie was in the kitchen playing trumpet, and you couldn't even see him.
I see an old black mama said, honey, treat me way too good.
We were in the studio for 2 days, and we did 15 songs in those 2 days, and we didn't do really hardly any overdubs at all, and it was great. It was so easy, and the real hero of this record actually is Scott Everett, because he's the best engineer I've ever worked with, and he did a great job making everybody sound good and the record sound good, and it was just a fantastic experience.
If I was 20 years older, old black mama, you know you would. Old black mama.
I always make a joke that being a singer-songwriter is the loneliest thing in the world, because you're always on stage by yourself and you travel by yourself, and it's really easy to get down on yourself and wallow in your pity. But I look around and I see my friends that helped me make this record, and we had 19 people play and record the record, and not once did any money change hands, and I think that's an amazing thing.
Oh, baby, we can take it, 'cause you got a heart, girl.
Everybody that participated in making this record volunteered their time and their talents, and I think that says a lot for friendship, and I think that says a lot for music, and I think that says a lot for Austin and the community that exists here as well.
Gonna be trouble. We'll cross every river.
I met a man recently who wanted to help me out financially, help me put this record out, and he started talking about marketing and profits, and those things rarely ever cross my mind, and they don't cross my mind when I'm writing songs or making music. But what does come across my mind when I'm writing and making music is all of the people that I've met and all the friendships that I've made through playing music and playing music with other people, and that's really the biggest payoff.
It'll make you feel so all alone. Let's make a little small.
I mean, I probably should have quit this a long time ago, but there are people that have encouraged me, who have taught me, who have had belief in me when I didn't have any belief in myself. And then there are the other people who are just warriors, and they persevere in the face of hard times.
Even when it's cloudy.
Sometimes I feel like Don Quixote chasing windmills, and you want to give up, and then you look behind you and you have 1,000 Sanchos. People that inspire you, the people that support you, and the people that give you love, especially when you have nothing left to give. This record might not ever come out, and it'd be totally irrelevant whether it did or not. The important thing is that a bunch of people got together and made music for all the right reasons, and I think you can hear it in the record, and that's really the most important thing. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Hey, Mom.
How are you doing, honey?
I'm good, Mom. Not even on drugs right now.